CN would open a brand new passenger station here following the war. But World War II would put a little bit of a halt to that, and it would only open in 1943 after almost 2 decades of construction. And following World War II, their focus was new railway hotels. From the Hotel Vancouver, which we know today, to the Bessborough in Saskatoon. In 1953 saw CN announce plans to build Montreal's newest hotel, the Queen Elizabeth, and she would open in 1958. Now, a year earlier in 1957, a fire would destroy a third of the Windsor Hotel, and in 1959, the hotel would be demolished, and the attention would turn to a new hotel, and in 1963, Canadian Pacific President Buck Crump would announce plans for what would become Canada's finest and final railway hotel, and in September of 1964, they would break ground across the street from Windsor Station. Now, the original plan was for 2 twin tower hotels, but due to budget costs, the concept was trimmed down to a single tower, and after 2.5 years of construction, on January 11th, 1967, just before the start of Expo 67 in Montreal, the hotel was complete. Towering 450 feet, 40 floors tall, it would become Canada's tallest hotel at the time of completion, and almost 60 years later, it still reigns as Montreal's tallest hotel to date. Now, Crump, a lot like myself, was a huge history nerd and had a deep admiration for the father of New France, Samuel de Champlain. And what better way to honor Canada's roots than by naming the hotel after the man responsible for so much of its history, and would therefore name the new hotel the Chateau Champlain. Hosting just shy of 600 guest rooms and 19 suites, although the design does get a little bit of hate from locals for looking like a giant cheese grater with a giant block of brie cheese on top, which kind of interesting, because if you know anything about the culinary arts, you don't exactly grate brie cheese, but I get where they were going with that. But the story is that the arches of the hotel's design were designed to mirror the shape of Windsor Station, blending the latest railway hotel to the heritage of Canada's oldest passenger station still in service at the time. Now fast forward to 1988, the Canadian Pacific bought up almost all of Canadian National's railway hotels, including here and the Queen Elizabeth across the street. And once they acquired the Queen E, they sold the Champlain to Marriott Hotels in 1991, and fast forward to here in 2025, that brings us to my experience inside of one of Montreal's most recognizable landmarks and hotels, the Chateau Champlain.